Yeah, we're back.
Anyway.
So
see the end of Ugly Dolls for that joke. It's not really worth.
No, but
anyway,
we can drink.
So Long Shot, the new Seth Rogen comedy.
Seth
Rogen, Charlize Theron movie.
You and I actually have to do a little bit different opinions on this. Probably not that much. But
I really like Charlize Theron. I think
do
she does
too.
a good job in every single thing I've seen her in.
I agree.
I've never seen her do a bad movie. And whether you're talking about something like this, where she's just the pretty lady, or you're talking about, you know, Mad Max, where she's doing something really intense, or fucking all the way back to like Monster, man. Like, she's just a really good actress.
Oh, she is, absolutely.
So I always appreciate her, and you have Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen, who, you know, it depends if you like Seth Rogen. I generally like him. I like him as a person.
I used to hate Seth Rogen a lot more than I do now. I kind of warmed him over the years.
Yeah, it helps that he's a legit decent guy.
And he can be he's a good actor when he tries.
Yeah. He just enjoys doing movies that he has fun with, and that's fine. It's like John C. Reilly is a perfectly great actor, but he still took his time to do like 4 seasons of Brule's Rules for Tim and Eric. He just enjoys doing that weird dumb shit and doing shit with Will Ferrell. Like, he enjoys it.
No, I actually like this movie. I don't think you did. But I don't agree with everything it said, but there are parts about it that I appreciate. I thought the chemistry between Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron was pretty good.
That is
I thought that was very good.
You are seeing two people actually interact. And Charlize Theron is great, and Seth Rogen is charming, and I think both of them, Seth Rogen, if there's anything can be said that as a strong point for him as an actor, is his compassion and his empathy. Like, as a character, as seeming like an actual person, he does a really good job.
I agree. And I think I like this movie tried to say something. Whether or not it succeeded in that is questionable and debatable, especially with some parts where they try to go like the centrist angle towards the end, I did not agree with.
I did not like that at all.
No, I did not agree with that.
Although I did like, what's his name?
Ice Cube's son.
Yeah, Ice Cube's son. It was funny.
He's a remarkably good actor.
No, I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed every moment with him in this movie. Even if the part that was written for him was really clumsy and ham-fisted, the way he acted it out was really fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like... But there's so many moments in this movie that do feel like a writer's table just throwing shit at the wall.
True. And I agree with that. Like, not all the jokes land.
The moment at the very end where, like, spoiler alert, they get together. But where they're all cheering for them, and he just goes Wakanda forever.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, that is strictly a hey, look, he's black joke. Like, I'm not.
There was that mixed with the little Captain America. I get that reference. That struck me as really weird too.
Very strange.
There's this movie. Like, this movie does have a lot of Seth Rogenisms. A lot of dick jokes. A lot of stuff like that.
I did enjoy the opening scene, though, even though that's the most Seth Rogen part of the movie.
Which part was that?
The part where he's infiltrating the little Nazi group.
Oh, I didn't enjoy I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like, this isn't usually my style of humor. Because I don't typically like a lot of dick jokes in movies. I feel like they just get lazy after a while.
Yeah. I didn't need to see him come.
I didn't need to see that either. But here's the thing I did like about it though. Like I said, even though I don't necessarily agree with the message, I do agree with the core of it, which is stand up for what you believe in, stand up for what you think is right.
Yeah.
And I did like the chemistry. I thought the chemistry between the two characters was really, really good. Yeah. And I like their interaction. I like seeing them together. It is way too long. They could have cut this up to an easy, tight hour and a half.
Yeah. It didn't need to be as long as it was.
But I like that the script is a little smart, just a little bit smarter than you would think for this kind of movie.
Well, it had something like 4 writers, didn't it?
I didn't check.
Or 2 or something. There were 2 writers, and one of them was one of them was a woman and one of them was a man. And I don't I'm just gonna be fine. I'm just gonna be prejudiced here. I'm pretty sure that the dude was the one who wrote the dick jokes.
Probably.
Just gonna put that out there.
And it's like a lot of the jokes were like, okay, it's this kind of movie, you expect that kind of joke, and not all of them. Like some get a laugh, a lot of it's like, oh boy, here we go. But like I think what it boils down to is the fact that the characters are really likable. They have good arcs, they have good chemistry, and that's what you're there to see for this kind of movie.
June Diane Raphael's character was weirdly abrasive.
Yeah, I didn't like where they were going with that.
Yeah,
especially when they actually get together. I thought they were like leading her to the antagonist role, which I thought was kind of dumb.
Yeah, it was weird.
I was like,
how it's
oh
like,
god, we're doing this.
She
like
turns around, she's like, I'll actually support you if you want. It's like, you've been an asshole this whole movie.
I know, no, that bugged me too. And like, there's definitely parts of this movie I did not like in the way that follows the romantic comedy tropes and the romantic comedy formula.
And I definitely felt really bad for Seth Rogen, where he had the moments of insecurity and where he actually, he learned the mantra and he was like, I am worth loving, I am worth loving. And I was like, oh.
And I felt like Seth Rogen is like actually playing a character here rather than he was doing it early on in his career, or just being
himself.
Himself. And I was like, and I appreciated that. Yeah. I can see he was trying in this, and I have a lot of respect for that.
And you can, I mean, Seth Rogen is he's a charming, dorky guy.
Yeah, and he can
granted, there's a good like niche for that now, and for those kinds of people to be superstars and have their sense of humor. But you know that when he was a fucking high schooler, like, wasn't he in Freaks and Geeks?
He was.
Yeah, like when he was a high schooler, he was that kind of kid where it was like, maybe he wasn't that popular. Maybe he knows what it's like to be like conventionally portrayed as undesirable, through what the mainstream says that you should be. And he's felt that kind of lack of worth and rejection, So I feel like there was something in that character that he probably connected with and wanted to be real about.
Yeah, and he was successful in that. Yeah. And Charlize Theron, as you mentioned before, is just good no matter what.
Yeah, she's good no matter what, and she definitely comes across as somebody who cares. Like, that as somebody from South Africa, she knows a little more about what it's like to see some really fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And have that as part of your culture. And having her be a character that is rebelling against trying to hold on to her principles when confronted with the American cynicism of like how to do politics.
Yeah, with their like kind of sort of Trump/Reagan stand-in.
Yeah. Which like Bob Odenkirk always.
Like, if you're gonna get someone to do that,
great.
like, you can't do better than fucking Saul Goodman.
Yeah,
like, he was
Bob
perfect
Odenkirk
for that. And I kind of
great.
like that it wasn't just an overt Trump stand-in.
Yeah, no, he's somewhat charming. He wasn't like trying to do a voice or anything. He was just being himself.
But also while clearly also being a Trump and Reagan stand-in. And of course I appreciated that, like, the Fox News stand-in.
Yeah, the guy who plays Roger Ailes basically feels more like Steve Bannon in like,
yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, he does feel like, kind of bulbous nosed and
I thought those elements
he looks
on the
like
nose
someone who's a drunk. He looks like someone who's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
and unkempt and gross and like.
And like, here's the thing about this kind of political satire that I'm realizing now more than I would have a couple years ago. Where it's like, before I was like, well, that's still too on the nose. And I was like, nowadays you kind of need to be on the nose about it.
Yeah.
So like, I was totally okay with the fact that they're like, nope, this is clearly Fox News. Fox News is evil. We're not going to be subtle about it. It is what it is. I'm like, you know what? I would have issues with this a couple years ago. Now I'm kind of okay with it because I think it kind of needs to be said. Granted, this is very much preaching to the choir because people who like have different opinions are not going to go see this.
But there's definitely like. Okay, so let's go through the basic thing. He knows her from high school. It's weird to see a kid with a boner as a joke.
Yeah.
Even if it's through sweatpants, like it's still like weird. And then it goes to the thing where they meet at this gala and to see Boys to Men
and then
he quits his journalism job because it's being bought by Wembley News or whatever. And they also have those Wembley broadcasts where it shows all the different news stations, and then it shows Wembley just doing really misogynistic shit.
Yeah, I was like, well, she gonna be a good president during that time of the month? Because I don't think so.
Yeah, right. But
God, I hope that doesn't get taken out of context.
it was just this thing where a lot of those jokes felt very pandering and very on the nose, and they didn't feel like they had much nuance.
It did, but that being said, like, kind of like what I was mentioning earlier, I was okay with it because I feel like nowadays you kind of need to.
On a certain level, sure, but it can still be done better.
I agree.
I felt, honestly, overall about this movie, I still feel like it was a 6-ish.
I'd probably got a higher 7 for me.
Really?
I just enjoyed it. Like, and again, like,
It was okay. I just felt like there were points where it was trying to do something and it didn't work for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Let's see.
It's not a great movie, but like it's like for what it is, for what it set out to do, I appreciated what it was trying to do.
I liked how it built their
more,
chemistry.
Yeah, and I thought it was more charming than it was offensive or pandering.
Yeah.
So
I like how it built up to them getting together. I like how it continued that, and there's a weird issue I have with movies portraying people on drugs, where it's like you can tell when the person portraying them being on drugs
has never been on
drugs. And I'm not sure Charlize Theron has ever done Molly.
You know Seth Rogen has.
But Seth Rogen definitely has.
I mean, Kevin Smith called him like the most functional marijuana user he's ever seen.
Yes, but marijuana is not Molly.
True. But it's not like this like you would never tell this man is like ever on drugs. See, he's just always competent. But he's also always high.
So I've done Molly, and I'm pretty sure you haven't.
No.
Okay, well there you go. Because you cannot be functional on Molly. You can't. It is just overwhelming your senses. Okay.
I feel like if anyone could though, be Charlize Theron.
Possibly, but that's the thing. When she gets called into like this negotiation thing, I found that scene really. It was cringy.
Yeah,
it was pretty cringy because she's got confetti in her hair.
Yeah.
Like you know that they would at least try to brush the confetti out of her hair. You know that, she's
and apparently no one took care of that till morning.
Yeah, right? And she still has it when she's being interviewed later. And she goes through this whole hostage negotiation with this foreign leader, and she's like, I don't know, this general is telling her, like, you gotta be aggressive. He's being aggressive. You gotta push right back. And, standard American bluster kind of, and she's like, I'm just feeling more kind of chill right now. And so she takes the phone and she goes and sits off in the corner under a desk and she smokes a cigarette and she's like, listen, man.
My boss is an asshole.
My boss is an asshole. I know it. You know it. And he's like, you think he's an asshole too? And it's like, yeah. No, he could be a real dick. I don't like him. His show sucks. It was only good for like 3 episodes. And so they connect on that, and then she's like, how about I give you an aid package, and you just, like, I know you don't like holding hostages. And he's like, it sucks. I don't like being mean. It's just a cute moment.
It is.
But it feels like it would have been more at home in a more slapstick kind of movie.
I can see that. And like,
it feels uneven. It feels like an uneven movie. It's definitely clearly written by 2 people trying to mash together something that doesn't necessarily go together that well, but it goes together well enough that it works.
I think this is the case where like the positives are better than the negatives for me.
Exactly.
And it's like it depends like what you get more out of it.
Yeah, I would say it's worth seeing. It's a cute movie, but don't expect it to be as great as the reviews are saying it is.
No, like it's not like nail biting, like brilliant satire.
Yeah,
or anything
because from what I've been seeing in the reviews and everything, I was expecting a solid 8, and it definitely is not that.
I think it depends on what element you're looking for. Because
but even you said it's like kind of
like if I'm taking it as the overall package, I would say like it's a 7.
That's what I'm saying. It's like an overall package.
But that being said, from there for like just for the romance element, I would say it's easily an 8 or 9.
Yeah, no, the romance elements are surprisingly heartfelt and well done.
Yeah, and that's what you're there for. You're gonna get that.
Yeah,
it's more like for the other elements where it's like it's trying to be smarter than this kind of franchise, and it succeeds in parts, but it's not quite there.
Let's just skip ahead. Like, there's not that much to... O'Shea Jackson Jr. That's his name, right? O'Shea Jackson? Ice Cube's son.
I do not know.
I'll look it up just to make sure. But there's that moment later in the movie where they talk about how they're basically going to have... let's see. Fox News has hacked into Seth Rogen's webcam.
Oh, yeah.
And they have recorded him for a long time, and they know about his relationship with her, and it ends up being like this thing where they blackmail him. Yeah. They blackmail Charlize Theron by saying, we're going to release this footage of him masturbating and coming on his face to your speech. And she thinks it's kind of sweet, which, that's
one way to respond to
that's a good
somebody's jerking off to you.
Yeah, that's a really... do you remember the end of Harold and Kumar?
I never saw it.
Oh God! It's because the whole plot is him trying to get to Amsterdam to like to meet up with the second Earl of Kamar. The plot is him trying to get to Amsterdam to chase the girl that he's been interested in for a while. Mm-hmm. At the very end of the movie, they go up to her at a cafe in Amsterdam, and he just freezes for a moment, and she's like, "You followed me to Amsterdam? That's so sweet." And he's like, "Oh, thank God. Okay, it's sweet. Thank God it's sweet." And yeah, it really depends on your level of affection for the person who's jerking off to you as to how that feels. So
unless you're into that, and then
that's a different matter entirely. But fortunately, Charlize Theron is like, "Oh, he jerked off to me. Also, this video is going to ruin my career, so shit." And they talk about maybe smuggling him through tunnels and shit, and he refuses to do that because he doesn't want his work, his activist journalism and stuff to be scrubbed from the internet and everything.
I get that.
Yeah, no, it's cool because it fits with his character. He believes in his principles and everything. But then he has this whole thing where it kind of undermines some of the stuff in the movie.
I can see that.
Where he goes and sits down with Shay Jackson Jr.
Shay Jackson. That whole scene, that's really what was a big question mark for me. I'm like,
I get what they were trying to do.
I do too.
It is well intentioned to have a liberal character realize that they have some mild racial assumptions as well as strong intolerances for other people's beliefs.
And if this movie was released 2 years ago, it might have worked better.
But to have a character who just says, like, "I'm your best friend and I'm Republican and I'm Christian," and as far as they go into that conversation is him saying, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the same guy as 2 minutes ago, your best friend." And that's the talk. Like, they don't talk about the
elephant in the room.
I mean, it would severely put the brakes on the pacing of this film to, indulge in a 5-minute conversation about the incongruence in beliefs between the two sides and how we can find a middle space. And Seth Rogen's like, "You're Republican and I'm racist. Like, I don't know what's happening anymore. And, I guess I can compromise a little bit in what she needs." And
like, again, if this movie was released like 2 to 4 years ago, that message would have been better.
Yeah.
But like now, especially now,
it feels like a really ham-fisted attempt it feels like
to go the centrist angle, which doesn't really
feels
work.
like a well-meaning centrist just being like, "Can't we all get along?"
Which is like, well, that would have been great again a few years ago before the Republican Party made it pretty clear that they're basically the white supremacist party at this point.
It's really it's unnuanced. It's
and I completely agree. That's
it didn't need to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It didn't need to. Like, it uses that as the plot point to get it to the point where Seth Rogen could give it a little and get back together with Charlize Theron. But there were other ways that they could have done that plot point, and it feels like they were trying to make a point or do something better, and they failed horribly at it. It's really just clumsy.
No, I agree. That was definitely the most problematic scene in the film. Yeah. I completely agree.
I feel like the last 15 minutes of the movie just kind of fall apart.
I can see that. Yeah, and that's reasonable.
I wasn't really thinking about it, but I'm realizing everything past that point just kind of is not good.
Yeah, that's fair. I can agree with that. I think the one joke I did like at the end, though, when they're doing "I'm the first Mr. the President. Here's my portrait," written by Seth MacFarlane, not Seth MacFarlane, Todd McFarlane, and they had that great joke. I was the only one that laughed at this joke.
I laughed too. I was like, "Ah, yes!"
Where they said the first couple were pretty over the top. Yeah. No, I'm one guy in the back going, "Ha!"
Yeah, right.
Nobody else got that joke.
And then I did like the joke where he was like, "And I got to find out who actually killed JFK." And she's like, "Don't even joke about that." He's like, "No, it's not who you think it is." Yeah. Okay, that was pretty funny. I would honestly like to see. I think I would enjoy a sequel better.
I could see that, yeah.
I think they could mine that for comedy way better, just having Seth Rogen try to be the first man of the White House.
And I like the closing lines of the film, "He's my mister and she's my president." I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, it was really cute. It's a cute movie. It does fine. It's not great, but it's good. Yeah. It's good. And it has a couple low points, but what movie doesn't?
Yeah.
There's some movies that don't.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the 10s are. Yeah, that's really
all I gotta say. And
Yeah.
I should probably wrap this up because you probably go back to work, and I need to get some lunch.
yeah.
So,
All right, man.
all right. Well, that was it. That was our reviews for the week. Thank you for helping me out. Get those both out of my hair.
All right, man.
And next week,
I'm gonna see Pikachu on Saturday.
Yeah, Pikachu.
Yeah.
I got a few people interested in that. We'll see how that goes.
Horrifying CG portrayals of Pokemon.
It still looks better than Sonic.
I disagree. I think
Meow.
I laughed at that.
Really? Because I thought that was horrifying.
It was okay.
That's like I was like almost as bad as when I saw
Let's-
Steppenwolf in Justice League, where I just sat there like, wow.
Let's quickly. Let's just talk about
Very
Sonic
quickly.
for a second. Yes, the CG version of Sonic is horrifying. Yes, the use of Gangster's Paradise is unfortunate. Yes, look, I feel like it was more of a bad trailer than...
Nobody cares! I'm kidding.
I know, but that's I feel like in the context of the movie, that's a scene that could be okay.
I mean, it's Jim Carrey. I'll give him a
Exactly.
chance.
It's Jim Carrey doing his thing. So
As long as I don't follow his Twitter account.
I really don't think that the trailer was just put together really poorly. And if you just take those out of the context of it being a trailer, I think they did a decent job at capturing Sonic's personality.
We'll see. That's a big
I think they
question
did a
mark for me.
decent job. Like yeah, there are a couple jokes in there that are like, oh, he's modern, but overall, his cocky, like, carefree intensity is still like, hey, I'm just gonna take care of this guy. Woo! Like,
To me, that was more like, of course, that's that one guy from Parks and Rec. Of course
What
it is.
guy?
Aziz's friend that keeps popping up.
I don't know.
Remember that?
I don't watch Parks and Rec. So,
Oh, never mind. You wouldn't know then. Yeah. He also plays a voice.
If you know his name,
He also does a voice in DuckTales,
what?
the new one.
What?
You didn't ever seen the new one?
No.
It's actually really good.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's got David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck.
I love how the Sonic. I type in Sonic, and the Sonic the Hedgehog movie is like the 8th thing down.
We don't want to talk about it.
We don't talk about this.
Leave it
Ben
alone.
Schwartz. Oh, yeah, that guy. I don't mind that guy. He's a decent guy. He's all right.
But seriously, go watch New DuckTales. You'd like it.
Yeah, probably. I don't have time, but yeah, I think it's a terrible trailer, and I think they're going to address the issues. And
Breakdown
I'm not-
doesn't suck.
I was expecting far worse. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough.
I was expecting so much worse. Seeing the legs still freaks me out, but I was expecting far worse as far as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
goes.
fair enough. All
And
right.
and when they got to that last shot of like Jim Carrey with the huge Robotnik mustache putting on the goggles, I was like, that's awesome.
You know it's going to be the after credit scene. I'm calling it right now.
I don't care. It's fine. If that means there's gonna be a sequel, like, fuck it. I want it. I want it.
All right.
I'm
Man, I can't wait for Alvin and the Chipmunk 6, man. It's going to be great.
I'm a Sonic fan. I am.
Why?
Because it does something other ones don't. And I just enjoyed it.
When was the last good Sonic game?
Sonic Mania was actually pretty good, but it was technically a fan game that got
Okay, yeah, I heard that was actually
officialized.
good. And then
Sonic Generations was good.
I heard the BioWare ones are pretty good.
Yeah, the Sonic and the Dark Crystal Chronicles or whatever for the DS was good. Sonic Unleashed, the Sonic portions that weren't werewolf stuff were good.
Oh, God.
But then before
What
that,
do you think about Shadow the Hedgehog?
that game's not as bad as people give it shit for. It's not.
It was definitely a product of its time.
It was a product of its time. It definitely was like the dark, gritty shit. But at the same time, it's not a Sonic game. You gotta understand that it's not a Sonic game, but it definitely had an interesting open world mechanic. Not open world, but there was a freedom to the levels where you could choose whether you wanted to help the humans or the aliens. And you had a meter that adjusted depending on that. And that was kind of cool. It was kind of an interesting thing to put into a Sonic game, to have a morality meter. But then before that, like I like Sonic Adventure 2. I really like Sonic Adventure. And then you go back and I actually enjoyed Sonic 3D. Sonic CD's great. 2 and 3, like Sonic and Knuckles, like all those games are fucking great. And it's just, yeah, he is very much a product of overly colorful 90s kids cool generation. Like, he's like the 7-Up dot still alive. Like, it's not... Or you remember the Noid?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, no, it's very much a product of the 90s, and it's like, but at the same time, if they can still make enjoyable experiences out of it, I don't mind it.
Fair enough.
As long as you're not playing Sonic Boom.
Oh, God.
Or Sonic 06.
Or Sonic Racer.
Dude, Sonic 06. I was just watching some of the Game Grumps.
I can't move!
I was watching some of the Game Grumps footage from Sonic 06 again just yesterday. Just yesterday, because it popped up in suggestions, and my girlfriend
I can't fucking do this anymore!
No, there's one of my favorite moments. I forgot how there's like a 30-second loading screen, and then one line of text dialogue, and then a 30-second loading screen, and then like a 15-second challenge, and then a 30-second loading screen, and then one more line of dialogue congratulating you, and then a 30-second loading screen, and it pops you back. And none of these loading screens put you into a different area or load new assets. They're just fucking long for no reason.
Oh, Lord.
But, yeah, no, there's the, and I still remember the point where it's like video 18 or 28 where they go to a challenge where it's a fixed camera and you're looking at some boxes, and Aaron just realizes that you can run off screen and just starts running in giant circles around, just woo, woo, and both of them just start laughing because you could tell that's the moment their minds just break.
I think my favorite one is one where I think it just like randomly just start floating up to like an icicle, like the
battle with Silver.
Not that part. It's the part where like they're in a lava level, and at one point they just randomly float to the sky and they get stuck there. And then one part like the guy just has a complete mental breakdown, and he just goes like, "I can't do it, John." It's like, "You have to beat it. I can't do it anymore." And then he just comes out and he's like, "Listen to me, Aaron. I can't do it without you, and you can't do it without me. I appreciate it, but look what we're dealing with, man." It's like, Aaron, we gotta make a statement.
There's one moment where Aaron is trying to control the snowboarding level, and he's doing flips and shit, and he's just controlling it terribly, and he's just like, he just pauses and he's like, "Here." And you just hear him, he just hands it to JonTron, and he's like, just you try. And because JonTron's making fun of him and laughing, and he thinks it's just hilarious, and Aaron just hands it over to him, and JonTron unpauses and just tries to control it for a few seconds, and just starts laughing, and he's like, "What?" Just can't deal with it.
All right, we can talk about this forever.
Anyway, Sonic 06 is one of the saddest atrocities ever released.
So that's it for this week. Next week, got Pokemon. Where the else fucking comes out next week?
Oh, God.
Oh, Tolkien. That's the other one. Tolkien. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one either.
Yeah, anyway, we should separate that Sonic conversation. Just
fuck it, leave it
on the subject of Sonic. If you want to see us talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, watch the long shot review.
And I'll just put like, that'll be the trailer reaction we do for that one. I'll leave it at that. All right, guys.
We should also separate my Human Centipede rant off into its own video.
That ship's already sailed, you know, man. That's already there. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. See you later.
Yep.